Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
He made us a certain way, and we have to be happy with the way He made us. But even more of a problem is when you enhance certain features that Yahweh didn't want enhanced, and you take the eye away from a brother because his wife isn't wearing makeup and you are. That's not being a weak man. That's being a man who was built that way. And if King David's head would turn, if King Solomon's head would turn, if Samson's head will turn, if Judah's head will turn, well, who to say we're stronger than that? You know, yeah, we got Yahweh's Spirit, but we have to take an example like Joseph. Joseph is a great example. You don't stay and fight temptation, man. You run. I tell people Joseph was probably one of the most powerful men in Scripture. I say, you know, that queen who tried to seduce him, you know, either he was very strong or she was very ugly, one or the other. But he ran. He resisted the temptation. He didn't stay and fight. And this is a problem today because there are women out there that know the power that they have, and we look at some of these. But we look at makeup. Where does it come from? It comes right out of Babylon, right out of Egypt. The pharaohs were the first to wear makeup, to enhance their eyes, to enhance their features. Comes right out of Egypt. How weird would it be today if a man wore makeup on a regular basis? It sounds crazy, but then you look at Prince and all these other movie stars and actors that wear makeup on a regular basis. It's just coming out, times are coming, where all men and women are going to be wearing makeup. But we think it sounds crazy, but if it's done often enough, people accept it. The whole makeup industry has a sexual spirit behind it. It's driven by that spirit. Again, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, we don't need to be messing with this. We look at lipstick that contains pork and swine and mascara having rat droppings. And we put all these things on our faces and on our bodies that gets in the pores of our skin, creating problems. One of the biggest trips of the enemy. I ask everyone here, we have babies, would we put makeup on our babies? Why not? We'd say, no way, that's not for them. Well, where in the makeup does it say an age limit? Where does it say this makeup is for somebody 18 years old or not? Some people today are putting makeup on young. How absurd is that? You know, I see mothers and they say, well, that's crazy. I want to put a makeup on my baby. Can you watch my baby? I got to go put makeup on. Well, I put it on yourself. So that's the spirit that's behind this. Now, I know I'm stepping on some toes here, but do I have your permission to keep going?
Keep going.
All right. Well, we look at this example, and I'm not good at pronouncing this name because I'm from New York, but I'll give it a try. Ohala and Olaba, the sisters of Jerusalem, the prostitutes of Jerusalem. This scripture, Ezekiel 23:40. You sisters sent messages to distant lands to get men. Then when they arrived, you bathed yourself, painted your eyelids, and put your finest jewels for them. The spirit behind this is we have to think about. The next one. The number one alternative doctrine that's supported today is what? You want to take a guess? The number one type of alternative doctor that people go to visit today. Chiropractors. Why? If you're going to walk around all day on your tippy toes, some women even walk to the doctor's office in high heels saying my back hurts. You talk about an oxymoron. One of the worst things you can have for your health, emotionally, physically, and spiritually is high heels. It's high heels. And I tell you, men and women think different, and I will never understand a woman's connection between shoes and purses. I'm not even going to try. But I do know that there's something that happens when women see shoes and purses. Well, women, just so you can get an idea with the way men think, something happens when a man sees a naked woman. And just like you don't have any control not to buy something when you don't have money because you want that shoe or that purse. Well, something happens to a man where he doesn't have control over his choices either. So we have to understand we're tempted by different things, but we are tempted. And we have to help each other. I am not going to, try to wave shoes around to people that don't have money, women, because they're going to go into debt to get those shoes. And emotionally, that's not going to be healthy for them, and then they're going to lead to physical problems. But we look at high heels. We just have to look not too far from this. How in the world, I don't know, I was in Vegas not too long ago, and I mean, these girls must have been from Circus Olay walking so fast with these heels on through the airport. High heels, where did they start from? The whole point is to make the leg look sexy. The whole point is to make the leg look sexy. They come right out of Egypt. Just like a man would look crazy in high heels. Well, don't you think a woman would look crazy in high heels? But they do it, and they're walking around at first until they can get it, and their backs are hurting. Where did it come from? The prostitutes of Rome were identified by how high their heels were. And then in Paris, in the prostitute houses in Paris, that's where the prostitutes used to wear all these high heels. Then in the 19th century, they were introduced to the United States. And this new big fashion thing. All of a sudden, these high heels. I'll tell you this. I talk about diet being unhealthy. I talk about people getting diseases. I'll tell you what. More men have been led away from Yahweh and have created disease in their own bodies through lipstick and a high heel than any food you could ever put in your body. You talk about weapons of mass destruction. That's it right there. So we need to really see what Yahweh wants us to do and understand this. Now I know some of you might have thought I was only going to talk about clothing, and you might quite be surprised right now. But we need to rethink these things of what we do and why we do them. Do you want me to stop or keep going? Keep going. Uh-oh, I didn't hear as many encouragement with enthusiasm. All right, you promise you won't get mad, right? Okay. So here we go. So remember, we're supposed to be set apart. We have to be set apart. Now I don't know everything a woman thinks, but I know what some of you are thinking right now. Why do you got to say something about all these women? Why don't you say something about men? Right? Is anyone thinking about that? Because I know you're a defensive spirit, right? Okay. So some of you are thinking now, why don't you say something about men? Okay, I'll say something about men. You know what? I've done studies on this. I went, for the last 10 years of my life, 11 years of my life, I went 11 months out of the year without shaving and 1 month with shaving. And when I had my baby a couple years ago, I went the whole year with shaving and 1 month without. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I felt a problem when I shaved. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I was taking what was of Yahweh and saying I could do better. For the same vanity reasons of the world today. I'm going to change what Yahweh created. And physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I was creating a problem. Physically, the stress that comes along with putting a blade next to my face every single day. With the nicks and the cuts and the scratches. A man will spend up to 4 months in front of a mirror shaving in his lifetime. And then he says that I don't have time to go do certain things. This has created such a problem today. We are supposed to have beards. We are supposed to be set apart. You could take a lion and you shave it, you have a lioness. Something's wrong. Men and women are supposed to be set apart. There's something that goes upon shaving. We have to understand Yahweh created. Some men say, well, I can't grow a beard. Well, then why do you shave? You can grow a beard. You just don't like the way it looks. Now, you can certainly trim your beard if you want it to look neater, if some people want to say that. But to destroy what Yahweh created is not following His path. Even to shape it in ways of the Egyptians and the Babylon kings and princesses is not what Yahweh wanted for us. You know, with all these funky haircuts and funky beards and everything else, it's not of Him. Now, see, I told you women, I told you men. And shaving cream also is so bad. Even when I did shave, I used oils. I didn't use the toxic shaving cream. If you can't put it on your body, don't put it in your body. And if you're putting it on your body, it's going in your body. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Shaving. Yahweh created us in a certain way. Men or women shouldn't be shaving. Uh-oh, now I got some of your attention.
It's good they wear skirts.
Men or women shouldn't be shaving. Because if Yahweh created it, that's the way it's supposed to be. And this is another trick of the enemy to make our leg with the high heel look nice and smooth and sexy to attract men. And this has created a problem. Now, some of you are thinking, well, you think I'm crazy. If I'm going to go out in society and let somebody look at my hairy legs, well, I say, I think you're crazy if you're going to go out in society and let somebody look at your legs. You know, and that's the problem we have today. We're so worried about all these different things, but we're not worried about what Yahweh wanted us to do. You know, most women, their hair won't grow back thick if they didn't shave to begin with. You know, when in the world do you introduce your daughter? Please somebody tell me this, because I don't really want to know, but I need to know the craziness of this. When do you say to your daughter, you know what, today we're going to take a razor blade and start shaving your whole body? How absurd is that? But we do that, and then we do that, we set an example by doing it all the time. So we have to understand this. You know, today we got this crazy obsession where women, most women, will shave their legs, but they don't shave their arms. Now, some women today are shaving their arms because it's become the custom to do so. But there's hair there for a reason. There's hair on our bodies for a reason. But we look at all this and we see these issues. Remember, it says in Romans 14, 12, 13, each of us will give a personal account to Yahweh, so let's stop condemning each other. Decide instead to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall.
Come on.